No guesswork. I'm going to show you exactly how to get your fasting insulin between 2 and 5, and that's where you want it. Let's talk about the superficial stuff first to get that off the table. Then we're going to talk about the 5 reasons for your longevity, slowing down aging, your health, everything, while you want to lower it to 2 to 5. This is fasting insulin. So I'm going to give you steps to show you how to do this, and it's not difficult. And don't panic if it is up. But what I have been taught by the people that have taught me, if you don't know, if you don't understand why it is you need to do a thing, you're less likely to take action. And if you don't take action, you forget about this video. Next year, 5 years, 10 years, you're going to be in a world of trouble. And you can fix this. Superficial stuff. When you got too much insulin, it's very difficult to burn, well, actually oxidize body fat in the mitochondria through a process called beta oxidation. And beyond that, the food that you eat, the long chain fatty acids, you can't burn those motherfuckers. So your trigs got, which exacerbate and worsen hyperinsulinemia. So it's not insulin resistance, it's chronic high insulin. Your cells, and I'll show you the proof here today, they're saying, glucose, dude, you are not coming into my cell and glycating my proteins and destroying them. It's not a pathology. Your cells are protecting yourself, protecting themselves. The sacrificial lamb is the glycocalyx and the endothelium because they can turn over their cells pretty quickly and repair themselves. But if this is chronic, year after year, decade after decade, as I will show you in this video, yeah, that's a big problem for heart health. Right, here we go. Reason number one, when your insulin is, say, north of 8, it's turning down the volume on cell cleansing, longevity pathways. It's causing endoplasmic reticulum stress, and this is huge. Absolutely huge. So, in a nutshell, I'd say it starts turning down the power. It starts to silence gene expression of these longevity genes in autophagy a little bit when it's north of 8, maybe 10. Now, when it's north of 15, especially 20, we got some trouble. And you can fix this within weeks if you do it right. So do not panic. Now, when insulin is chronically high, your glucose is going to be chronically high, and that causes and forms what's called advanced glycation end products and telomere attrition, which is accelerated aging, skin, brain, eyes, endothelium, glycocalyx, the extracellular matrix, everything is being glycated. So this is huge. Reason number one. So let's just look at the kidney. High insulin, blood glucose. We've got decreased ATP for the kidney to clean house. Then you've got impaired nerve 2, and I'll show you that on the next screen. Then your mitochondria, they are tapping out. And right here, decreased SIRT3 expression, gene expression. So that's thing number one. I'll show that in the next page. But over here, increased protein acetylation. So excess acetylation is tagging the proteins, causing accelerated aging. Science is cool, yeah? Now, it's not just SIRT3. All of these things are down-regulated. So all of these longevity SIRTs are down-regulated, and eventually, over time, you've got epigenetic modifications that are silencing these genes. So they're not really powerful, you know what I mean? And you can fix this. So don't fucking panic, man. So we don't want genome instability, so we want expression of the SIRTs here, 1, 3, 4, and 6. And what about your immune system? Viruses, infections, sinusitis, gut issues, shit like that. Cancer? Probably not. And then your kidneys, as I just mentioned there, the SIRT3s, but also 1, 6, and 2. They're all helping the kidneys. And your old liver, man, which is the unsung hero of detox. I mean, we have got so much crap in our modern world that we have to detox. One, two, three, four, five, six. Oh no, no, it's missing five. Sorry. So it's just a shit ton. The liver needs help. Then over here, like if you want to get lean, glucose and fat metabolism in the mitochondria and also the peroxisome, fats in the peroxisome, very long chain fatty acids, and also ethanol, alcohol in the peroxisomes. We need some help there. And what about these anti-inflammatory genes putting out the fire? Autoimmune disease, cancer. And what about your heart? Cardio protection, SERP 1 and 3. Brain, same deal, SERP 1 and 3. So we want full motherfucking gene expression of these sirtuins, but also FOXOs and the NERV2s. So we're going to talk about today, number one and number two, which is endoplasmic reticulum stress, smooth and rough, and also autophagy and mitophagy, cellular cleansing. So your cells could be filthy if your insulin's been too high too long, but you can easily clean them out. Really simple to do. And then over here, number three, mitochondrial biogenesis, a brand new V8 powerhouses fueling you, kicking ass. And I'm not going to talk about all these detoxification genes and proteins. Now, keyword there, protein, because when I talk about the endoplasmic reticulum, you understand why this is important because it's making all these proteins. This motherfucker here is making proteins like these detoxification proteins. NADPH. If you want to rebuild yourself, pack on the muscle, rebuild your gut, your intestines, repair your liver. Yeah, we need NADPH. And what about the master antioxidant? Taking care of business. Then I've already talked about the mitochondrial heme and iron metabolism, anti-inflammatory gene expression in the up position. And this powerful son of a bitch here, TXN antioxidant systems protecting your proteins. So it's helping protect that. They're all working together to help you fucking thrive, man. And you can do this. So let's have a look inside the cell. So this is like a cell. And here's some of the organelles within it. Peroxisomes, as I mentioned, they're very long chain fatty acids, also plasmogens. What are plasmogens? Ever heard of the myelin sheath protecting the central nervous system, the enteric nervous system, the vagus nerve, your moneymaker? Well, about 30% of the myelin sheath is plasmogens, and it's making those for you. And we're going to talk about the smooth and rough endoplasmic reticulum, the lysosomes are detoxing these shitty proteins, and we got to protect the cell membrane. So that's what we're going to unpack right now in reason number one. So this is what can cause endoplasmic reticulum stress. So this is what it does. We'll walk through that in a moment because you need to understand what it's actually doing for you and why we need protection from this shit. Chronic high insulin, inflammation, nutrient lack there, oxidative stress, then infection. Could be sinus, could be gut, could be a whole host of different things. Now, right down here, poor nutrient status because your kidneys and your mitochondria are tapping out. So you got calcium imbalance. Then infections over here, could be gut, sinus, glycation. So this is what's happening when your insulin is up too high too often. You got too much glucose. It's glycating proteins. And this is why. You see here, the endoplasmic reticulum and the rough, and a lot of the organelles in here and all the proteins in there get glycated when glucose comes in and it can't be oxidized. So it's basically saying, your cell's saying, hey, insulin, fuck off. You're not letting glucose through the door. So that's why you got insulin resistance. It's not a pathology. The cell is literally protecting itself from this glycation. Now, the sacrificial lamb is going to be the glycocalyx and the endothelium, and that's number three. And I'll talk about how to protect that beautiful vascular system. So you got good blood flow. Now, collagen. Yeah, endoplasmic reticulum. So you probably want really good skin, no wrinkles. You want elastic skin. You want to look youthful. Endoplasmic reticulum. It makes the proteins, does its magic, sends it off the Golgi apparatus. It delivers it to different organs like the extracellular matrix, the skin, your heart, your glycocalyx, your knees, your joints, everywhere. Yeah, as I just said, joints, cartilage, vascular system, your tendons, your fascia, organs like the liver, kidney, heart, and the extracellular matrix to keep it all together. So as you can see there, she's pretty important. Hang on. On to the next screen there. So what I'm also going to talk about is a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So what's actually happening here? You got the smooth, which is there. Then you got the rough. So the rough, what's happening is inside the DNA in the nucleus there, you're making messenger RNA. So the messenger RNA attaches to the ribosomes on the rough, and that's why they're called rough. The ribosome makes them rough, look rough, and it translates and makes a protein. But it's not folded, it's not fully developed, it is not functional yet. So it's got to go through all of these processes and turn into a full functioning protein. So this is how the rough endoplasmic reticulum makes proteins for protein synthesis. So you see here the star protein. It's the fucking protein. It's the rate limiting step. So what happens if your rough endoplasmic reticulum is kind of shit? Well, you can't make a lot of testosterone. And these proteins are fucking everywhere in the protein synthesis testosterone synthesis pathway. They're absolutely everywhere. And they're also, the rough endoplasmic reticulum are making proteins to clear out and detox toxins, heavy metals, plastics, chemicals, all that shit. Your estrogen, yeah? So when your estrogen comes down, you can make your man juice, ethanol, alcohol, mainly in the peroxisomes and petrochemicals. And guess what else it's doing? It's making anti-inflammatory proteins. So it's doing a shit ton of work. So in a nutshell, this is how testosterone is made. And I'm sure you want more of it and you want more free tea because that, my friends, is what you need to optimize for is free tea. So every 2 hours, your body sends out pulses of LH, providing the system is optimal. That's if the system is working like a finely tuned V8 machine, you're going to be making your man juice every 2 hours. So you see here, it comes down here in step number two, once it binds to the LH receptor. So you need energy, and that is creating the mitochondria. When you have endoplasmic reticulum stress, your mitochondria are sick. So you don't have a lot of mitochondria. In step number three, you need nitric oxide through a healthy glycocalyx and endothelium, and they converge onto these protein kinases. So when that happens, it hits a star protein, right? Endoplasmic reticulum, the rough, makes the protein. Then it says, yo, cholesterol, dude, let's get into the mitochondria, man, and make some man juice. Enzymatically converted through proteins in a pregnenolone. Then it's exported out into the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, enzymatically converting your free tea every 2 hours. So you can really appreciate how important it is to protect these proteins and organelles inside your cells with not too much glucose, which is causing advanced glycation end products and endoplasmic reticulum stress, both smooth and rough. Now, next slide, heart health. So lots of research. This is a very new one, 2025. All right. Mitochondrial associated endoplasmic reticulum membranes and myocardial ischemia. Fancy way of saying heart disease. So you got ER stress, and again, I'll just show you what the ER stress is. Boom. So I've gone over that. So it's not just hyperinsulinemia, it's a lot of things playing into that. Then you got these unfolded proteins. These proteins can't fucking work. So these proteins are like, dude, I don't know. I don't know how to fucking make testosterone, man. I got no clue. I don't know what to do. And your body's got to clear that shit out. And autophagy is what does the work. And because your insulin is up too high, it can't trigger cellular cleansing. So all this debris and shit, toxic fats is accruing and aggregating in your cells so that your cells don't work very well. It's a fucking metabolic mess inside your cells. So that's kind of how it all plays out. So the way you want to think through this, if your fasting insulin is north of, say, 10, it's really turning down the volume on cellular cleansing, autophagy. So when you're young, so we can mimic this. Like we can be 60, 70 and be mimicking young. All right. So you got very low burden of misfolded proteins, endoplasmic reticulum. So the stress goes down. All right. They're doing their thing. They're V8 powered. And then your stress tolerance, and we're talking emotional stress. We're talking circadian stress. We're talking cellular stress, metabolic stress. It all is better. But if you've got these misfolded proteins and your ER stress is up, your mitochondria are shit, and all stress tolerance is down, it's just like, fuck, man, I'm just getting older. You know, that's just a normal part of aging. Fuck no. It's not normal. It's not normal at all. So, just about to finish on reason number one. Endoplasmic reticulum stress impairs mitochondrial function and autophagy. So, as you can see here, protein misfolding and aggregation in the brain. This is just the brain, but it's in all cells. Common pathogenic pathways in neurodegenerative and mental disorders. So, to zoom into the brain there, you got these misfolded proteins, fibrils. They're just accruing in your brain. So, your memory doesn't work. You got ADHD, ADD like symptoms. You can't focus. You can't recall information. You got ums and ahs. No divergent, convergent thinking, remote associations, working memory. And you think, oh, I'm just getting older. No, you're not getting older. And of course, we're going to become estrogen dominant like I was. So I've been there. I know what it's like. But you don't have to live there. You can get back into your prime. Because as you can see here, when your glucose and insulin is high, you shut down, which fucks up your leptin, which gives you cravings and shit, which increases your inflammation, which increases your estrogen, which increases your glucocorticoids because that's a part of the inflammatory response, lowering inflammation. And you feel like shit, so your not dynorphin opioids go up, and then you've got gut issues, and you pack on the weight. So you just clamped. You fucking clamped, and you can fix this. So don't panic. You can fix it. Now, I just want to focus on this right here. When you got the system, the V8 engine and machinery, the endoplasmic reticulum, the peroxisomes, the lysosomes, the Golgi apparatus, the mitochondria, your gonadotropin releasing hormone system every 2 hours, pulses of FSH, fertility, LH, ball sack, testosterone. So it probably feels like you're missing out. So that's number two. Number three, vascular health. All right. So where the blood flows, all right, where the blood flows, you got this protective shield called the glycocalyx. And there's our first clue. Glyco, sugar residues, carbohydrate residues, calyx. So glycosaminoglycans and sugar residues. So what happens when your glucose is too high in your blood? Well, it binds to it and damages it. So this is what we want. This is a very healthy glycocalyx. Beautiful blood flow, superior protection. But over here, you see, it's just, you got spots where it's patchy. So it's like cracks open up. And then when cracks open up, the body's got to repair it so nothing leaks in to the extracellular matrix. All right. So these foam cells, they build up. And then the endothelium has to grow around these foam cells as a permanent fixture there. So you got permanent reduced blood flow. And you'll be thinking, Mark, well, how can I fix that? How can I fix that? Well, I'm going to show you here today. It's the research is there. But in a nutshell, you could also have poor gene expression for hyaluronic acid, which is hyaluron. Now, hyaluron is a main constitutive component of the glycosaminoglycans. So you need to probably supplement that if that is you. So in a nutshell, when she's damaged, you get your leukocytes, your LDL can kind of go in there. And then when that happens, this is kind of how it all plays out. So this is the extracellular matrix. So when your glycocalyx is damaged, you get leakage, right? And that causes inflammation and oxidative stress in the endothelium. So this foam builds up, and then the endothelium has to build it themselves around it, as I showed you. right over here. And that's kind of what happens. So you got reduced blood flow. So yeah, how do you fix it? Well, I'll get to that. So in a nutshell, your extracellular matrix, this is all collagen, glycosaminoglycans, proteoglycans. You can see the blood flow here, all right? So more extracellular matrix there. So it's holding it all together. So when your glycocalyx is damaged, all these cytokines can go into there and start destroying the extracellular matrix. So you get stiff joints and you start to, I can't stretch anymore. I'm just, I need muscle massages and jacuzzis and shit like that. So it's far, far reaching. And guess what? The endoplasmic reticulum is making all these collagens, proteoglycans, and the Golgi apparatus is delivering them through there. So basically, you also need nutrient sufficiency, and I'm going to talk about that today. We want an intact glycocalyx, but when it's permeable, as I have just shown you, that is the end result. So, another thing to consider, the epithelial, like the protective barrier. So, where the blood flows, the vascular system, your lungs, your gonads, your kidneys, and also your gut, your intestines, and your colon. So, it's pretty important that the endoplasmic reticulum is firing on all 8 cylinders. Now, here is how you can get rid of this plaque. Now, this is behind a paywall. You actually have to pay to see this research. This was done with 162 participants, no fucking side effects, high dose nattokinase over 12 months, reduced the plaque by 36%. You can fix it. You just need to have the right tools. Now, number 4, you can age like fine wine. These advanced glycation end products destroy your skin, your connective tissue, the extracellular matrix, your joints, all of that I just mentioned there. So you probably don't want this skin here. You probably want this skin there. And you can actually reverse wrinkles as well when you start to turn over, you guessed it, collagen through the endoplasmic reticulum. So in a nutshell there, if you got high glucose and AGEs, it's destroying it. Your skin, your joints, cartilage, your vascular system, glycocalyx, endothelium, tendons, fascia, liver, kidney, heart, extracellular matrix, the glue that's holding it all together. And the final thing that I'll talk about here with advanced glycation end products is you got accelerated telomere attrition. Telomere attrition shortening causes cellular senescence, plaque in your arteries, coronary artery disease, stroke, aneurysms, peripheral artery disease. So that's a swelling, that's edema. They're leaky. And then eventually things like cardiomyopathy. So in a nutshell, you can walk this back. You can actually increase your telomere length and your base pairs because honestly, you don't want to get to 70 and only have 4,000 base pairs left. You can have a lot more base pairs left than that if you stop this accelerated telomere attrition and advanced glycation end products, insulin and glucose too high too often, and not being able to clean out the cells through autophagy. It's a big cause of why a lot of men and women are suffering out there. Finally, number 5, the mitochondria. So the endoplasmic reticulum will destroy it. And this is what the mitochondria do. It's all about energy. So we know that the mitochondria are producing the ATP, cellular energy, but guess what else? As you saw, testosterone. They're making your testosterone, your neurotransmitters, good mood and cognition, repairing RNA, DNA, lipids. So your body fat goes into the mitochondria through a process called beta oxidation, and you get lean, and also protein synthesis. But again, endoplasmic reticulum work with the mitochondria, protein synthesis, collagen skin, proteins for anti-inflammatory gene expression. You're picking up on what I'm laying down. Then homeostatic balance, calcium, as I mentioned, that's huge. And the mitochondria also communicate to the central nervous system, sports performance, cognition and mood, wealth creation. You know, if you got weak mitochondria, you'll have ADHD, ADD-like symptoms, no focus. Then your intestines. So you actually absorb the nutrients from your food and the microbiome. The circadian system. So if it's out, they suffer. They slowly get destroyed over time. Metabolic systems, immune system, and again, epigenetic, like they're turning on and off longevity genes, epigenetic pathways, and cell fate. So cell fate is that telomere attrition, accelerated aging. So eventually, hang on, I forgot to talk about this here. You ready? RNA and DNA repair. Deleterious heteroplasmic mitochondrial mutations are associated with an increased risk of overall and cancer specific mortality. So it's more of a mitochondrial disease. And then over here, mitochondrial DNA and disease, brain, ataxia, and that's what ataxia looks like. So your cortex is literally rotting away. And this is a now typical 82-year-old brain. So you don't have to put up with that. And then you've got things like headaches and migraines, depression, psychosis, dementia, seizures, stroke. Then over here, your heart, as I just mentioned, endocrine disorders, testosterone, thyroid, kidney issues, which further exacerbate heart disease, myopathy, so weak, tired muscles, endoplasmic reticulum. You can't fix the extracellular matrix or repair proteins. And then neuropathy. So your central nervous system also needs powerful mitochondria, liver issues, gut issues, hearing, and eyesight. So as you can see, it's all interconnected. Endoplasmic reticulum taps out the mitochondria. ER dysfunction, mitochondrial dysfunction, up and down. So it's ebbing and flowing there, and you feel like shit. So, in a nutshell, insulin is a big exacerbator of all of this, but everything else that I've mentioned plays into it. So, step number one, circadian rhythm. It has to be on point, and I'll show you how to do it today. So, in a nutshell, if your circadian rhythm is out, so are your longevity genes, so you can't detox your cells. Your mitochondria and your endoplasmic reticulum get stressed the fuck out. Cellular senescence, life expectancy goes down. Then, as you can see here, telomere attrition, accelerated aging, mitochondrial dysfunction, endothelial dysfunction, nitrous oxide uncoupling, which is super, super dangerous. It's just a metabolic disaster. So, how do you set your circadian rhythm? Well, this is step one of two. Pretty simple. So, when you wake up in the morning, when the sun is at a low solar angle, so about no more than 10 degrees above the horizon there, you need to get 5 as a minimum, but ideally about 10 to 15. All right, so you need to be outside getting a healthy dose of the sun in the morning. That's going to set your circadian rhythm, but you can do something else. Same deal, sunset, low solar angle, 10 degrees and below, 5 to up to 15 minutes, and that's going to switch on your melatonin. So your melatonin does all this. It's not just a sleep hormone. Neuroinflammation down. You've got healthy cholesterol, which is really important for detox as well. Your cholinergic system, rest and digest, anti-anxiety. Neurogenesis, so you're going to live a very long, healthy life, increase your earning potential, keep your memories, and of course, anti-aging, senescent cells. Mitochondrial dysfunction is down, and calcium homeostatic balance, as you have seen, huge. But also insulin. Insulin's going to be much, much healthier, and that's what we're talking about. And these junk proteins, it's detoxing. Autophagy's on at night time. So pretty cool. Now, another thing that you have to be mindful of is light, toxic blue light at nighttime. Now, I've got another video link below about this, but I'm just going to go over it very quickly. So if you've got too much light at nighttime, it screws up all the hard work you just did that day. This is fucking gone. It's off. You screwed it all up because that light mimics sunlight at noontime. So your circadian rhythm is wiped out. So your metabolism is shit. So you got endoplasmic reticulum stress. And then you got endocrine issues, metabolic disease, cardiovascular disease. So what you want to do is make sure that you don't have these toxic LED lights and fluorescents on, because when they're on, you've got suppression of melatonin by up to 80%. So you're missing out on all of that. Enough said. So if you want to know more information about that, I should have a video link below. And if I don't, drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll link you to it. I'll put a pinned link to that video in in below in the comments. Now, the second thing you can do, solution number two, is meal frequency and your carb load. Now, what is going to push up your fucking insulin? What is going to push that up? Too much carbohydrate for you. It is that simple. So you need to start titrating back your carbohydrates. Now, you can certainly do a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet to bring it down, because that will bring it down very quickly. But what you got to think about is, if you're always pushing up your insulin, you're always going to have that issue. You can't detox. Your endoplasmic reticulum will be stressed. So what we want to do, instead of, this is just an arbitrary number, instead of producing 100 units of insulin per day, you want to stop ramming down your throat inappropriate amounts of carbohydrates. So your insulin load comes down much lower. And that's detox, autophagy, less endoplasmic reticulum stress, right there. Now, another thing you can do, this is how I eat. So basically, I eat 2 meals of the day. I fast for 18 hours and I eat through a 6 hour window. So when I wake up in the morning, I hydrate with electrolytes, and my first meal is large, and I have it at about 2 p.m. My second meal is at 6 p.m. What's an 18? It's about an 18.4, sorry, yeah. And it's a smaller meal there, so I don't have a lot of digestion to do. So by the time I go to sleep, my body's going back into cellular cleansing, and I'm just detoxing and detoxing and detoxing. So that's how you want to think through it. A large first meal and a smaller second meal. Now, if you've got really high insulin and you know who you are, don't try this. All right. Drop a comment below and I'll do another video on people that are like that. So that's the easiest thing you can do, is just walk back the amount of carbohydrates you're eating, that you want to do it slowly over time, and then start thinking about doing extended fasting. This is going to bring down your fasting insulin super, super fast. So what we've covered so far is circadian rhythm, toxic blue light at nighttime, suppressing your melatonin, so you're missing out on all those benefits. And then dropping the amount of carbohydrates that you're eating, and also consider doing intermittent fasting next. That's really going to bring down your fasting insulin. The next thing you can do, which is really going to help you with brand new mitochondria and accelerating autophagy. If you do HIIT cardio or weights fasted, I wouldn't recommend you do weights fasted yet. You have to be very, you have to have very healthy metabolism to do that. But you can certainly do HIIT cardio. However, if you're an older dude and you know who you are, and you got a damaged glycocalyx, you probably want to work with somebody that's going to help you fix that one first. All right, because you could blow a sandshoe. You know what I mean? You could blow a sandshoe in your heart or your vascular system there. So they're the three big ones. HIIT cardio and weights. That's really going to help you master your insulin. And intermittent fasting, big meal, small meal, could go low carb, and circadian rhythm. So they're the easiest things you can do right now. Now, on the next video, we're going to be talking about nutrient sufficiency. All right, so this is the advanced stuff, and I'm going to do this on another video, and that's going to come out in about 1 week's time. So, as you can now probably appreciate, legend, if you like these videos, share it, give it a like, drop a comment below. This is going to help me reach more people, because as you can see there, that's the cosmetic, all right? Fix the cosmics, cosmics. The body, the skin, anti-aging. As you can see there, when it's too high too often, it just slows down cellular detox, and your kidneys suffer, all these organ systems suffer. So you can fix it, so don't sweat it. Now, if you want to book a call with me to go over this with me in detail, based on you and your symptoms and where you are with your fasting insulin, book a call and we can go over that. Because we certainly don't want all of this shit playing out. Endoplasmic reticulum stress, you can't detox, your mitochondria, the junk in your cells, and your poor cells. I mean, they're just full of shit, and you can't Look youthful because you're not turning over collagen for skin, joints, cartilage, your vascular system, heart health, vascular health, your tendons, your fascia, your organs, your liver, your kidneys, your heart, and the glue that keeps it together, extracellular matrix. So, legends, there it is. I'll see you on the next video.